こんにちは、私はアジートレインレムです。ポケモン WTF モーメントへようこそ。
Today's episode begins with Ash admiring his 2 Orange League badges. I mean, it's nice to see him taking a break from cleaning that goddamn GS ball all the time. And yeah, I know he didn't do it in the last episode either, but I've got to leave you something to mention in the comments, haven't I? Tracey says Ash needs 2 more badges to be entered into the Orange Island League competition. Firstly, only 4 badges are needed to enter the Orange League. That's pathetic. Just seems like a waste of time more than anything. And secondly, don't call the Orange League a competition. By saying Ash needs 2 more badges to enter the competition, the use of the word competition here suggests that once Ash has all 4 badges, he'll be able to compete against a bunch of other trainers all vying for the same goal. And that's just not the case. After he wins his 3rd and 4th badge, he'll then have 1 trainer to face to win the league. It's just dumb. It shouldn't even be called the Orange League, really. It should be like the Orange Island Challenge or something. When the gang arrive on Moro Island, Ash calls Professor Oak and doesn't even mention the Snorlax he caught in the previous episode. Wow, Ash, don't act too excited about your new Pokemon. Oak then tells Ash about a recent discovery, a 300-year-old Orange League trophy found in a sunken ship off the coast of Moro Island. Oak, mate, what the hell are you doing? You need to be studying the GS ball, and you've already agreed to allow Ash to take a detour to challenge the Orange crew before he brings it back to you. And now you're going to delay him even further by telling him to go off and have a look at some old trophy? Mate, it's almost like you don't think the GS ball is that important, just like the writers. When Team Rocket sneak into the Moro Island Museum to steal the trophy and they all shush each other one by one, James is the last one to be shushed, but yet still turns around and shushes an artifact behind him. Solid Scooby-Doo reference, can't complain. Now bearing in mind, they've each just, for all intents and purposes, told each other to be quiet, Meowth, while reading the museum tour guide to find out where the 300-year-old trophy is being kept, proceeds to do the following. Meow, 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 meow. What are you doing, lad? I thought you were meant to be keeping the noise down. Meowth, use your noodle. When they arrive at the trophy, Meowth uses some thermal goggles to check where the museum's security lasers are. But then they decide to lower James through the lasers to grab the trophy. Mate, James is a fully grown bloke. Why aren't you sending the tiny Meowth to do this? Ignoring the fact that Team Rocket just effortlessly jumped off the roof of the museum, as they're making their escape, James trips on a rock and lands right on top of the trophy. Mate, how is that thing not ruined now? You're telling me this trophy has survived undamaged at the bottom of the ocean for 300 years and has survived a fully grown person falling on top of it? Jesus, they really don't make things like this anymore, do they? James somehow managed to leave a perfect imprint of the trophy on the ground, even though when he fell, his arms were wrapped around it. Like, surely there should be an imprint of James's arms deeper in the soil than the imprint of the trophy, right? Mate, Pokemon need to calm down and stop taking away all of my good WTF moments. There have been a few instances like this in this episode so far, where a perfectly good WTF moment happens, but then another character just acknowledges it. In this example, James and Meowth, who have just been overheard by Ash and friends talking about the trophy heist, say things like, oh, we definitely don't know anything about a stolen trophy, and if we did, it's definitely not in this bag, and I was about to say something along the lines of, great job lads, they definitely won't suspect you now. But Jessie jumps in and basically says that herself. Pokemon, let me handle the WTF moments, please. I've got a family to feed. Now, if you'd like to help me feed my family, that's me, my beautiful girlfriend, and my 2 adorable dogs, without spending a penny, you can hit that like button, share this video on social media, and leave a comment down below to help these videos in the algorithm. It helps the channel massively. If you can't think of a comment to write, just post something generic like,
no, Mum, I'm not coming in for my fucking tea.
And if you're new here, thanks for giving this channel a chance. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss an episode of Pokemon WTF Moments. This Seadra-themed boat is one of the greatest designed vehicles I've ever seen in my life. Why aren't these a real thing? I'd never leave the lake if I could ride around in that thing. Jessie and James are shocked to find that the Seadra boat is a pedal boat. Bearing in mind, they've been traveling in pedal-powered submarines since the early days of the anime. Mate, do you realize how much strength they must need to power submarines via the medium of pedal power? Their quads and hamstrings should be so hench by now that pedaling this tiny plastic plastic boat should be a breeze to them. After Ash and friends give chase on Lapras, Team Rocket find themselves dragged out to sea and soon caught in a dense fog. Meowth thinks this is great because Ash and co will never find them in such a thick fog, but he's missing one very important point. What if your boat hits a rock or something and sinks? The three of you will be buggered, mate. Hang on, when Ash and friends all ran to the ocean to chase Team Rocket, they all had their backpacks on, but now they don't. But they're on Lapras, in the middle of the ocean, so where did they put them? Did they leave them on the shore? That doesn't seem very safe. Or did they accidentally drop them in the ocean and figure, oh well, if we catch Team Rocket and get the trophy back, we can use the reward money to buy new stuff?
Well, actually, Liam, I don't think anyone said there'd be a reward for getting the trophy back.
Exactly! So they're idiots if they've assumed there will be. Team Rocket find what appears to be a very run-down pirate ship and climb aboard. And then we get this direct quote from Meowth.
Nobody here but Team Rocket.
Mate, you've been on the deck for all of 5 seconds. You've got no way of knowing if there's people lurking in the lower decks because you haven't looked yet. Never assume, mate. It makes an ass out of you and... oh no, wait, just you in this case. Meowth, use your noodle. Please. It's twice I've told you to do this now. They're all talking about how lucky it is to find an abandoned ship out in the ocean, when James says the only other kind of ships you find out here are those old haunted ones. Mate, what? How often do you think people find haunted ships just floating in the ocean? This is Pokemon, not Sea of Thieves. They see a faint image of a stereotypical blanket-covered ghost, but my question is, why is the blanket itself also kind of faint and see-through? Like, isn't the point of a ghost with a blanket on top a way to show the usually invisible ghost shape using something that is visible like a blanket? So then why would the blanket be partially invisible? In that case, the ghost might as well just show its actual form. Ash and friends arrive alongside the huge boat and Ash asks,
"What is it?"
Ash, mate, it's a boat. Screw your head on, lad. I mean, granted it is pretty foggy, I suppose. But no, actually, they're right next to it, so how can he not tell it's a boat? Tracey wonders if the boat is haunted, and Ash asks if he means haunted with ghosts. Nah, mate. Haunted with salad. Of course he means with ghosts. Mate, I know Ash is meant to be dumb, but he's really reaching new heights today, isn't he? The ghost appears again, and then suddenly one of the boat's masts starts to fall towards Misty. Seems a bit overkill, doesn't it? Like a falling mast could easily cause enough damage to completely sink the ship, especially an old ship like that. Is that really worth it just to kill a 10-year-old? This ghost's got some issues, man. After Misty does a frankly sick front flip, she drops Togepi and it goes rolling along the deck towards a huge hole that was caused by Team Rocket earlier. Pikachu runs to grab Togepi, but appears to stop short and bring his hands back just a split second before he would have actually caught Togepi. Am I saying that Pikachu intentionally failed to catch Togepi? Because he's jealous of all the attention Togepi gets and is annoyed at all the times Togepi's mucking around has caused Pikachu to get hurt? You're damn right I am, Pikachu. That's not very protagonisty, is it? So the episode's set on a ghost ship and the Who's That Pokemon is Gastly, Wow, I wonder if we'll see a Gastly during the second half of this episode. We get treated to a lovely scene where everyone's calling out for Togepi. And they keep shouting out for each other and it sounds horrible. Annoying, isn't it? A ghost taps Jessie on the back and disappears, and when she whacks James with a mallet and accuses him of doing it, he says it wasn't him and claims he's got his hands full carrying the trophy. Even though we can clearly see him rubbing the sore spot on his head with one hand and holding the bag that the trophy's in with the other. James, we know you didn't do it, but you're really not helping your case by blatantly lying. It turns out there are two ghosts, and one of them grabs the trophy bag and tries to pull it away from James. And James says, "It's got me by the throat." I mean, I get what you're saying, but technically, it's got you by the bag. One of the ghosts uses Lick on Jessie and Meowth, and they both fall to the floor, seemingly paralyzed. But wait, why did it work on Meowth? Meowth's a normal type. It's immune to ghost type moves. Then again, it was able to use Lick on 2 Pokemon at once, which is not really something that's possible. So maybe the ghost's hacking and that's why it was able to lick a normal type Pokemon. Really, Meowth should have no-sold that Lick like he was the Ultimate Warrior, taking, well, literally any move. Oh, I'll tell you what is a good move though. Using code ACE for money off G Fuel. That's right, the wondrous, glorious, beautiful code ACE will give you 10% off your entire G Fuel order. You can pick up wonderful flavors like pink lemonade, which I'm drinking right now. It's very, very lovely, very, very refreshing, very, very tasty, most importantly, and full of energy. Oh, it's bloody lovely. Get yourself some pink lemonade or any of the wonderful flavors over at gfuel.com. Use code ACE to save yourself 10%. Remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because children do not need caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and of course, because it contains caffeine, just drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Tracy sends out his Marill and gets it to use its incredible hearing to find out where Togepi is. Just a reminder that nothing in the Pokemon game says anything about Marill having such great hearing that it can locate a missing Togepi inside a ghost ship, but I guess we'll roll with it, because Marill's super cute and deserves more screen time. Now, when Ash and friends walk into the room where Togepi is and Misty instantly shits herself at the sight of Togepi's shadow, I can't be the only one whose mind immediately went to this scene in Metal Gear Solid 2. If you know, you know. The two ghosts turn up and start circling Togepi, and Misty sends out Staryu, who lifts the blankets off them. Wait, so those were real blankets and not weird blanket projections made by the ghosts? Then how were they turning them invisible? I know people that believe in ghosts believe that ghosts can like pick things up and move them around, but turn them invisible? I genuinely don't know if that's something that ghosts are supposed to be able to do. I guess when something's a completely made up phenomenon, you can give it the ability to do anything you want it to. Oh wow, it turns out the two ghosts were actually a Gastly and a Haunter. I must say, seeing Gastly in this episode has come as a complete surprise. That was sarcasm, by the way. Direct quote from Dexter. Gastly, the gas Pokemon. Some researchers believe this Pokemon is a multi-dimensional being. No, they don't. According to the Pokedex entries in the games for Haunter, they believe that about Haunter, but not necessarily about Gastly.
Well, actually, Liam, surely if they believe Haunters from another dimension, then by extension they believe the same thing about Gastly too.
Sure, but why not use their actual Pokedex info? Like, why not Gastly, the gas Pokemon? This gaseous Pokemon cloaks the target and puts it to sleep without notice. It still gives us info on Gastly, but has the added bonus of being actual content from the games. Direct quote from Dexter. Haunter, the gas Pokemon. After evolving from Gastly, this Haunter can learn the Dream Eater and Psychic attacks. True, it can do that, but it can also do that before it evolves, because Gastly learns Dream Eater at level 35, 3 levels before Haunter, and Gastly can learn Psychic via TM29, just like Haunter. Oh, this is what I mean though. Why not just use Haunter's Pokedex entry for Haunter? Like, you could have given us Haunter, the gas Pokemon. Because of its ability to slip through block walls, it is said to be from another dimension. But instead, because you already spaffed your interdimensional load on Gastly, you had to make up some bollocks about the moves it learns once it evolves into Haunter, even though those are moves that it can learn whether it evolves or not. Screw your heads on, lads. Ash, Misty and Tracey are surprised to see that Gastly and Haunter just want to play with Togepi. Ash mate, you've met a Gastly and a Haunter before, remember? The Haunter even helped you beat Sabrina, and all those two wanted to do was dick around and have a laugh all the time. So why is this a shock to you? Now, if these two had been super aggressive towards you, then maybe you'd have had grounds to be a little taken aback. Team Rocket burst in wanting to steal the trophy, and wait a minute, Victory Bell didn't chomp on James and just chased Meowth around instead. Why is Victory Bell suddenly not interested in chomping on James? Did James upset Victory Bell? Careful James, I hear hell hath no fury like a pissed off pitcher plant. Victory Bell's Razor Leaf has no effect on Gastly, even though Gastly isn't immune to grass. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a poison type, so it still would have resisted the move, but it still should have taken some damage even if it just shook it off. Jessie tells Arbok to use Tackle on Haunter, even though Arbok can't learn Tackle. Mate, it's bad enough telling your Pokemon to use a move that your opponent's immune to, but a move that it can't even learn? That's like throwing the whole battle. Jessie apparently doesn't want to win. Pass it on. Gastly's Nightshade absolutely batters James's Victory Bell, and given what we know about how Nightshade works, that means James's Victory Bell either has really low HP or this Gastly is just a stupidly high level. Let me know which you think it is down in the comments below. Haunter uses Confuse Ray on Jessie's Arbok, and Arbok proceeds to turn around and defeat the rest of Team Rocket with a single tackle, even though it can't learn it. Mate, how crap must Team Rocket be if their own crappy Arbok can deck all three of them in a single hit? Haunter takes control of Meowth and talks through him to explain its and Gastly's story, which turns the final few minutes of this episode into the Loki Season 1 finale. You know, where there's zero action and a character just explains the entire plot in a really long conversation. Yeah, literally same energy here. Listen, side note, I loved Loki, but god, that last episode is a long watch. Haunter explains they've been guarding the old Orange Island trophy, and Misty is shocked to hear that they've been doing it for centuries. Misty, it's a 300-year-old trophy. That's 3 centuries. Do the maths, love. It turns out Gastly apparently has a power like the Reality Stone from the MCU and projects an illusion all around them to show the events of the past. Basically, this is to keep us all visually entertained, since this section,
with only Meowth's monotone narration,
would have been somehow even more boring. So on that note, I'm not going to question why this is a thing Gastly can do. They really did an awful job on the captain's backstory. They explain him having this ship by saying he's someone who transports goods from island to island. Mate, just say he was a skilled Pokemon trainer who sailed from port to port, battling and defeating the strongest trainers he could find. At least then the flashback footage could be full of Pokemon battles rather than just a guy stood at the helm of a ship gently sailing along. Haunter explains that one day a terrible storm sank their ship, and whilst I am wishing that we saw more stuff in this flashback, I am kind of glad that they glossed over the fact that this Gastly and Haunter would have had to watch their master die as the ship went down, which when you think about it is exactly what would have happened, and man, that's morbid. Haunter says from that day forward they guarded their master's trophy, but from the scene we're shown they were just inside their Pokeballs that happened to be on the same desk as the trophy and didn't actually come out of them until a diver retrieving the trophy knocked them off the desk. I doubt that really counts as guarding a trophy, that's more just being placed next to it. I guess we're supposed to believe that Gastly and Haunter could come and go from their Pokeballs at will, kind of like Misty's Psyduck, and just place their own Pokeballs on that desk? Even so, it's a bit flimsy if you ask me. Yeah, so apparently they had the ability to raise the ship out of the water and take it wherever they wanted, and you're telling me that they only decided to do this once the trophy had been stolen? Nah, mate, they've been in their Pokeballs for 300 years. They weren't guarding anything. This Haunter is a liar. Pass it on. Direct quote from Ash.
I guess the captain must have been a pretty good Pokemon trainer to win that.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say he was the champion of the Orange League. Way to state the obvious, mate. That's like saying to someone who's buying an expensive car,
wow, you must have a lot of money to be buying that.
mate, what the hell even is Pokemon world history? This stadium from 300 years ago is apparently built like some ancient Greek temple, and the captain's dressed like he's straight out of the 1400s. And don't even get me started on the modern Pokeballs. Jesus, guys, pick a theme and stick with it. After they watch the captain's Orange League victory, the captain offers to battle any challengers. He points at a few different people and ends up pointing in Ash's direction. And whilst I was gonna mock Ash for forgetting that he's watching an illusion and actually replying to the captain, he actually does something that I think is even stupider. He runs towards the captain and doesn't stop until he's occupying the space the captain was just stood in. I thought you wanted to battle him, not hug him. Haunter says it hopes they understand why they can't let anyone take the trophy, and Ash says sure, just because the captain's not around anymore doesn't mean the trophy shouldn't still belong to him. God, imagine if people thought the same thing about their organs. Friendly reminder that everybody should make sure they're signed up to be an organ donor. I mean, you won't need them once you're gone, but you might just save someone else's life after yours has ended. Obviously, if you've got religious beliefs that forbid that kind of thing, then just disregard this. But I don't, so guess who's getting harvested on checkout day, baby? Except for my eyes, but that's not because of any beliefs or anything, it's just because they're fucking garbage. After dispatching Team Rocket, Gastly and Haunter used their powers to float their ship away into the sky, leaving Ash and friends behind on Lapras in the middle of the ocean. What ungrateful bastards! They won't even give Ash and friends a lift back to shore. Tracey says it looks like they're taking the ship to a place where nobody can find them. I mean, it looks like they're taking it to the moon, so yeah, seems like it. Although I will say, this does seem a little bit excessive. Like, I get you don't want to be found, but leaving the planet? Bit dramatic, innit? So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 2, Episode 15, A Shipful of Shivers. Let me know your favourites and anything that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Use code ACE for 10% off G Fuel and head to twitch.tv/AceTrainLiam for all of my live streams. I'll be live tonight at 7 PM UK time with some Regirock shiny hunting. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.